What's good, y'all? Today we got Michael Penix Jr., the future of the Atlanta Falcons, bro. Hey, man, we going crazy this NFL season, man. It's almost time. Got like 2 months. Check it out.
He has a cannon right attached
Young
to his left shoulder.
Blazing in
that
the building.
reflected in those stats.
Got the
Boy,
mention.
did it show up on the field, and it was quite a contrast to Kirk Cousins. The ability to throw to any part of the field was remarkable and is his greatest attribute.
Win the award for the second year in a row for weirdest selection, weirdest trade, whatever. The point that I went, what? Like, out of any lesson.
Challenges with durability all through his college career. But if he can stay healthy and this core can stay healthy, this is a top 10 offense.
The Atlanta Falcons have made plenty of headlines for the decisions over their recent years, and they're not always positive ones either. Nevertheless, whether the process was brilliant or just completely downright wrong, they can feel vindicted in their decision to bring Michael Penix into the building in the 2024 NFL Draft. The former Washington Husky was an undeniable upgrade over the aging, immobile, and expensive Kirk Cousins, showing off a cannon of an arm and fearless attitude. Now with a loaded offense and much-needed upgrades on defense, Penix is set up brilliantly to convert that strong start into a dominant sophomore season. And because of that is exactly why the Atlanta Falcons are a sleeping giant. Now, as we all know, the 2024 season was a pretty mixed bag for Atlanta. The arrival of Kirk Cousins was meant to break the mold of mediocrity in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and at times, things were looking pretty good. The logic behind the move was that the team's top 3 top 10 defensive talents, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan Robinson, were being wasted by lackluster quarterback play. So in comes Kirk Cousins, who appears to unlock
Y'all are lucky I ain't do reaction to what was it, the 2023 season when we had this nigga Marcus Mariota and Desmond Riddle at QB, bro. Y'all would have gotten some top tier, S tier content from me from that time, bro. I got mad. I'm mad. I missed that season, bro. Reacting to it on reaction.
However, hidden in these victories was a concerning trend. Kirk Cousins couldn't move.
Kirk Cousins has stayed within the pocket 99.4% of the time on his dropbacks. That is the highest in the league. That is the second highest since 2018. He cannot move. You watch the games, he can't move. You think about the plays that define Sam Darnold this year. When you watch it,
bro. That's one thing I complain. Bro, first thing I seen, bro, like he wasn't, bro. You can go back to my first Falcons reaction, bro. I was complaining the whole game about him not just staying in the pocket, bro.
Williams great plays, right? It's escapability. You have to be able to move up, move through the rush. The big play to Jefferson last week was an example by Darnold. Cousins used to be able to do that. Right now he can't. And he's thrown no touchdowns in 4 games. Now that streak should end.
No, he really was just a statue back there.
My cousin is lost, bro. It's time to hang up those boots.
To execute. This was, of course, due to the Achilles tear that he did suffer in the 2023 season, but nonetheless meant that things weren't quite as rosy as the record would suggest. In many ways, too, it was just a matter of fact before the offensive coordinator Zach Robinson and his trio of top 10 talents could no longer cover up the cracks. Beginning in November against a terrible New Orleans Saints team of all teams, the Falcons endured a 4-game losing stretch in which Cousins tossed 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Stupid Arthur Smith, bro.
Crashed back down to earth, and the $180 million quarterback was a big reason why. They did manage to beat the Raiders 15-9, but that wasn't enough to convince the front office that Kirk's slide was over. So the 36-year-old made way for Michael Penix Jr., the 24-year-old rookie quarterback who had taken the Washington Huskies to the national championship game just 1 year earlier. And as we all remember too, Penix was a very controversial selection for the Falcons when they took him. First and foremost, he had injury red flags all over his profile. Not only that, but his accuracy was another significant point of concern, never achieving below a 21% uncatchable pass rate through his career. Adding some struggles with pressure, and you got a profile with plenty to be wary of, which is one of the reasons why his ace selection overall in the 2024 draft was so controversial. The other part of this too that made it so concerning too, that was Atlanta had just dished out $180 million for the services of Kirk Cousins on a 4-year deal. As it turns out though, it was a really good job that they had made that selection, as Penix was very much needed to salvage what was becoming an ugly and depressing 2024. He started in his first game in December 22nd in Week 16, leading the Falcons to a 34-7 win over the Giants. And as crazy as it sounds too, that was the most points that Atlanta had scored since Week 7 against the Seahawks.
So, bro, that's ridiculous, bro. Like, Penix should have been starting, bro.
It was against a poor Giants team, but Cousins had only managed
one man, Arthur Smith.
So Penix still deserves plenty of credit for that win. The rookie quarterback completed 67% of his passes for 202 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception in that one, very much still finding his footing in his first taste of NFL action. He then collected 223 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception against fellow rookie Jaden Daniels and his Washington Commanders in Week 17, before setting season highs with 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception against Carolina in Week 18. Both of those last 2 outings did result in overtime losses, but the Falcons' offense remained potent, scoring 24 against Washington and then 38 against Carolina. In total, Penix's rookie campaign saw him start 3 games, totaling 775 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, taking just 3 sacks from those 3 starts. And while yes, it may have only produced 1 win, there was still so much more to these games than the final result. Penix's play was a stark contrast to what Cousins had been delivering. Like, he was ripping passes that Cousins couldn't even contemplate attempting, and his far superior athleticism opened up so much more in ways of play calling for offensive coordinator Zach Robinson, even though he was likely to still try and make things simple for his rookie. Like, I mean, hell, the Falcons pretty much had gone from not being able to call a single play action play to now being able to open up the entire playbook for Michael Penix, and on top of that too, they just could kind of throw the ball way more around the field too because of how strong Penix's arm was. Like, I mean, even just watching, yes, he played 3 games, just watching the 3 games he played compared to what Kirk Cousins was doing earlier in the season, it's crystal clear to see how much just better he was as a player.
Facts.
Not only that too, but even the advanced metrics back it up as well. From Kirk Cousins' 453 pass attempts in 2024, he managed to produce 13 big-time throws according to PFF. Michael Penix Jr., on the other hand, in just 3 games played, had only 105 pass attempts, but produced a whopping 10 big-time throws. So basically, in under a quarter of the attempts, Michael Penix had only 3 fewer big-time throws. And for context too, if Penix had thrown as many pass attempts as Kirk
Bro, that's crazy, bro. Kirk Cousins had 24 turnover-worthy plays, while Penix only had 2. Bro, that is crazy. 3 interceptions to 16. Yeah, bro, that's crazy, bro. That just shows this man Kirk Cousins was washed.
Actually logged. And now, yes, before you jump in the comment section, obviously it's a 3-game sample size. It's very tough to make, just season-long projections based off of such a small sample size in 3 games. But to be honest, with his style of play, it makes perfect sense on why he was putting up these numbers, I should say. Like, Penix is a gunslinger through and through. Yes, he may struggle with accuracy from time to time, but you can bet he's gonna let it fly, which is the polar opposite to Kirk Cousins. To further back it up too, Penix's 3 games produced an average depth of target of 10.6 yards, which was 5th in the NFL, compared to Cousins' 8 yards, which was 33rd. And as I said, not only is this great for Falcons fans, but this is also great for, Drake London, who is just a perfect weapon for any quarterback and is going to just stretch the field and be there when his quarterback needs him to be there. As we all remember, London broke out in 2024 with 1,271 yards and 9 touchdowns, instantly proving to have a great connection with his new quarterback, with the pair combining for over 106 yards in Week 17 and 187 yards and 2 scores in Week 18. Like having just one 100-yard outing all year long with Kirk, London must be absolutely ecstatic with the change in approach with his new quarterback. Even flashing back to Week 18 against Carolina, Penix sent London 18 targets his way and 13 in the game before that. You can bet your ass he's definitely going to pepper him in 2025, and he should. London is an absolute beast. He moves so well for a 6'4", 215-pound weapon, and his
calling it now, Drake London will be at least top 7 this season.
Leading the receiver room with London is Darnell Mooney, another player who also thrived in 2024. His 992 yards and
Darnell Mooney's gonna have a big season too.
Chicago in 2022 and 2023 combined. And had he not missed the final game of the season, he surely would have notched the second 1,000-yard season of his career. Mooney is that speedy, twitched up, and just very underrated receiver who averaged 15.5
Yeah, bro, that's fact, bro. After watching like Darnell Mooney, what he did this season, very underrated, bro.
In his first
Very
season
underrated.
as a Falcon, which puts him inside the top 10 in the NFL for that category. He's going to be another fantastic weapon for Michael Penix Jr., matching up brilliantly with the former Husky skill set. Ray McLeod, Hodge, and undrafted free agent Nick Nash then headlined the rest of the
Nick Nash,
board,
bro.
with Kyle
You gonna be
Pitts
nice.
sticking around for another year at tight end after becoming the highest drafted tight end
Kyle
ever.
Pitts, bro,
Pitts has
it's a
built
make or
his
break season for him.
and take that next step
Real
to
talk.
superstardom now. And yes, I know, I feel like we say it every single year, but now with the change under center, you know, maybe this year Kyle Pitts will make that jump. Maybe. I hope, because I have him on my dynasty team, on one of my dynasty teams, so please, let me know in the comments. But back to it, with Penix wanting to let it rip, Mooney stretching the field, and London dominating on the perimeter, things could be much better set up for what is arguably the best running back stable in the NFL. Bijan Robinson can make a strong case as the overall running back one, thriving as both a rusher and a receiver, while Tyler Algier continues to chip in as one of the most dependable and efficient backups in the league. Robinson broke out in style with 1,456 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns at 4.8 yards per carry in 2024 to go along with 431 yards and 1 score through the air. Algier had 1,000 yards as a rookie before collecting 600 yards in 2023 and 2024 behind Bijan. He's the perfect guy to spell Bijan whilst proving more than capable of carrying the load and breaking big plays himself. Both guys should have plenty of room to operate in 2025, with defenses having to account for Penix's big arms and the weapons at his disposal. But of course, both Robinson and Algier are both also very capable of picking up some work in the receiving game as well. All in all, though, the Falcons are just better to have a much better and balanced offense and just much more explosive as well offense in 2025. And yes, especially now that he's going to be starting this year, we're definitely going to have to wait a little bit longer to truly see how this Michael Penix experiment does pan out. But the way things are certainly set up right now, they certainly do seem to be going in the right direction at least. Like, it's clear that the team has immense confidence in their young stud, as was evidenced by their decision to take another dramatic swing in the 2025 draft. Having already collected Jalen Walker 15th overall, they then gave up a 2026 first-round pick to get back into the first round in 2025 to select James Pierce Jr., another edge rusher at 26 overall. And trust me, there is no denying it too that the pass rush has been a pressing area of need for Atlanta for years now. But the willingness to give up next year's first rounder suggests that there is a lot of confidence in the building right now that this team is finally ready to make a run for a deep playoff run. Elsewhere in the draft too, Xavier Watts was a popular pick by the team in the 3rd round with excellent ball skills and an impressive IQ at the position, and another safety in Billy Bowman was selected in the 4th round before offensive tackle Jack Nelson rounded out what was a small draft class in round 7. Free agency was a little bit quiet too, but they still did manage to make some moves there as well. Leonard Floyd is going to be a great veteran piece to add at the defensive edge position, especially considering the mentorship he can offer to the 2 young first-round rookies. Morgan Fox is another useful veteran addition at defensive tackle, collecting 15.5 sacks in limited play over the last 3 seasons.
Losing great
Chargers.
hurt,
And Divine Diablo is another great addition at linebacker, able to help out in coverage and as a tackler and add depth to the core led by the very talented Caden Ellis. Truthfully, for a long time, this defense has been considered toothless and was one of the biggest factors holding the Falcons back winning games at all. Now with the use of 2 draft picks finding first-round edge defenders joining the fray, along with some useful veterans and youngsters with upside, this really could be the year that the narrative begins to shift. And I mean, who knows? If it does, then Atlanta fans could be in for an absolute treat. The NFC South is still by far one of the weakest, if not the weakest division in the NFL. Tampa Bay definitely is still favorites to win it for the 5th time running, and while they do have a good roster and sensible ownership, this is the 2nd year in a row that they have lost a supremely talented offensive coordinator. The Bucs have executed this 4-year streak of NFC South titles with records of 13 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins, and 10 wins. Respectively, this just tells me that the division is completely wide open. Add in the fact, too, that a combination of Michael Penix Jr. continuing his upward trajectory to unleash this offense and the defense finally clicking will surely give these Atlanta Falcons their first division title since 2016, and who knows, potentially even more. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for overtime. If you made it to overtime, as always, comment OT. You are Tyler Shuck. That's a whole different video for a different time, but if you are Michael Penix Jr. continuing his upward trajectory to unleash this offense and the defense finally clicking will surely give these Atlanta Falcons their first division title since 2016, and who knows, potentially even more.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. After watching this, bro, like I can confidently say, bro, the Falcons will be a serious threat to the whole NFL in 2025 season, bro. Like, our offense is stat, our defense is stat, bro. It's wrapped for the league. It's wrapped for the league, bro. Raps. It's raps. Like I ain't gonna lie, bro. All fan bases should take us serious, bro. They should take us serious, cause like us, especially me, like us as Falcons fans, bro. Like we're hungry, bro. We're hungry. But that's that, bro. Hey, man. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe, man. On the road to 200.